Just when we thought it was over, the Minnesota Timberwolves respond with a dominant 42-point win victory over the Thunder. A lot of us talked about how this series was potentially over, how well the Thunder looked over the Timberwolves, but they say a series doesn't start until the team wins on the road. This is why. One of the things that I have to say in credit to the Timberwolves is not only did they win, they dominated them. And I think winning in general obviously would have extended the series, but when you're able to dominate, it just gives this confidence booster to the locker room. You saw all of the players stepping up. You saw the crowd being electrified. You saw how diminished the Oklahoma City Thunder looked. Right, a lot of their starters. I don't even think any of their starters played over 30 minutes, and they looked like two totally, completely different teams. You would not have guessed that the first two games went the way that they went based off of this game three. And I just think that that's going to go an extremely long way for the Timberwolves in game four to potentially tie this series up and take away all the momentum from OKC. The first person that I want to credit and acknowledge for this dominant win is Anthony Edwards. This is exactly what you want from your best player in these games when your back is against the wall. He came out and set the tone so major and big time for the Timberwolves, and it kind of opened up the floodgates for everybody else around him to follow his lead. In this first quarter, they outscored the Thunder 34-14. Anthony Edwards himself outscored the Thunder with 16 first quarter points. 16 first quarter points. The shot making was top notch all game long. I appreciated some of the defensive stops that they had and really the defensive effort that the entire team showed in this game. A lot of Rudy Gobert stepping up to make sure that Shea wasn't able to just easily step into the shots that he's been killing the entire league with all year long. You had a few possessions where they blitzed him, caused some turnovers. Anthony Edwards got some breakaway dunks early on in his game. The crowd was able to get behind him. And then, like I said, when the bench came in and Naz Reid was able to knock down shots, Dante DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, it just felt like everything was clicking for Minnesota. Again, this is a team in those first two games that was like playing their best and was only up 4, right? This is a team where in game 2, Julius Randle didn't play in the fourth quarter. So to be able to see them have a response like this on both sides of the floor was incredible. In that first quarter, you got Shea and J-Dub combining for 2 points, 3 turnovers, and 1 of 7 shooting. In the first game, they were, I believe, 4 of 21 at the half, and we're only down 4. That wasn't the case today. This is also a rare moment where OKC shot 0 free throws in that first quarter. 0 free throw attempts. We know how much, and I'm not here to have the conversation, like I've said before, about foul baiting and different things, but you know that's a part of what gets Shea going and what allows him to get his rhythm. Oftentimes, if he's starting off slow, he's able to get to the free throw line, and it's not just Shea, it's all superstars. They like to live at that line. It allows you to get easy free points. It stops the clock, and it allows you to get a rhythm, and it hostages your opponents and the defenders because oftentimes, if you are the number one option, you're probably getting an all-defensive defender guarding you. So to be able to have that type of start for the Minnesota Timberwolves, I thought was big time. But the other underrated thing that I didn't see much of in the first two games that they're going to have to continue. I know they're probably not going to win every time by 42, but if they want to continue to give themselves a chance, you have to find ways to turn over Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are going to turn you over. They're going to get fast break points. They're going to get easy ones. You have to be able to find ways to, create avenues where you can do the same for yourself. And to create 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers in the first quarter, I felt was a very, very, very key thing. I think last game, in game 2, they only generated 6 turnovers in the entire course of the game. So to get 5 in the first quarter was major. And then again, the shot making and just the momentum that they were riding on from their defensive efforts. You know, Minnesota shot 13 of 23, 6 of 13 from the 3-point line. And he went 2 of 4 at the free throw line. And they also won the turnover battle in that first quarter. With only 2 of their own turnovers. 9 bench points in that first quarter, which was something that's big because we know how much the bench has kind of, been here and there for the Timberwolves during this playoff series in the first 2 games. And then they were a +6 on a rebound and in the glass. That's all I want. I just think that the size that Rudy has, he has to have some type of way where he can contribute. Again, wasn't the craziest Rudy Gobert game of his career or anything like that. But I felt like early on he was a presence, and you saw some loose ball calls. He did have the 7 rebounds in the 28 minutes that he played. 2 of them were offensive. And I think that's really all you need. The defensive effort that he gave and he showed where he was stepping up and playing a lot higher on Shea. You take that and, again, he's going to have to be able to finish some plays around the basket here and there. But rebound. That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for Rudy to rebound and emphasize being on that glass. Jaden McDaniels also gave you 4 offensive rebounds in his game. And as a team, collectively, they gave you 11 offensive rebounds. So that's just a stat that you love to see if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you want to see more of that going forward. They did so well that Isaiah Hartenstein didn't start the third quarter. They went with a lineup that was a little smaller. And, if you can take some of their size off the floor, I think that even helps Rudy. He's shown us that in these playoffs, the least amount of size on the floor against him, the better he'll be able to play. In the second quarter, OKC shot the 3 ball a little better. 4 of 12 there. Still 6 of 19 from the field. Got to the free throw line a bit more. 8 attempts there. They made 7 of them. 4 turnovers, 3 assists. So another bad quarter with the turnovers. You're going to halftime, and you have the Thunder with 9 turnovers. Only 3 assists that quarter. That's always something evident to me. When you're able to turn a team over and allow them to have more turnovers and assists, you're setting yourself up to have a lot of success. Better quarter for Shea and J-Dub. J-Dub gave you 11 points. Shea gave you 7, but they both still weren't shooting the best. They combined for 4 of 10, 40% from the field. J-Dub got 5 of his 11 points from the free throw line there. And then Minnesota, 10 assists to 2 turnovers in the second quarter. The ball movement, the confidence, the trust, that was something that we weren't able to see too much of in those first 2 games on the road. OKC really shrunk the floor up. They tried to make Anthony Edwards make the right play oftentimes, but nobody really had a consistent groove or a consistent flow to their game to be able to punish some of the rotations that OKC had to eliminate the threat of Anthony Edwards beating them. This wasn't the case in Game 3. That wasn't the case at all. They were able to move the basketball. They got 16 points in the paint in this quarter. And then one of the best storylines, Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon came in that second quarter and gave them 9 points off the bench. 9 points off the bench, which I felt was big time and was also like a dope little storyline for a rookie to come in and have that much impact in a Western Conference final game. He really, really did well. And you go into the halftime up 72-41 with a 30-point lead. To me, that's the breathing room that you want against the Oklahoma City Thunder team. They even had like a little clip of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander talking about how they got in this position. We do this, we do that. It won't be this bad. They probably still win. And again, if the Timberwolves want a chance to win this series, these are the type of games that they have to take advantage of, where you got OKC questioning what they did, what they didn't do, how they could have helped themselves have a better loss and not a loss this bad. That's exactly what you want to do. And you defend the home floor. I mean, they're going to the half 72-41. I don't think the OKC Thunder have had a loss this bad or half that bad. 9 turnovers. They shot 30% from the field, 26% from 3. 13 bench points for, 29 bench points for the Timberwolves. 13 points off turnovers, and they dominated, man. They dominated. And it's good to be able to see a win like this, especially against a team like OKC who's been good and dominant the entire NBA season. You don't know how good you are against a team like this until you have a performance where you literally win by 42 and you dominate in every single area. And now you have some type of confidence to build up on. So I'm very interested to see where this goes and how they do. It's hard to really gauge the second half because, again, in the entire second half, Shea plays 7 minutes. J-Dub played 7 minutes. Chet played 4. Hartenstein 5, and Dort played 9 minutes. So a lot of their starters didn't even really play much in that second half. You got about 15, 16 minutes from A.J. Mitchell and Kenrich Williams. So I ain't going to value the second half too much. They still won by 11 in the second half, the Minnesota Timberwolves. But, yeah, it was kind of over at halftime, and you saw the white flag get waved a little bit. 15 points in this game for Terrence Shannon, I really think is a storyline. It was dope to be able to see some minutes from Leonard Miller. Rob Dillingham has some minutes. He has some dope passes. Hit Luke Garza with a nice little dish. So You got to find a way to make the most of this. The one thing that I will say is you don't want to go and get too much on your high horse and allow this win to mean nothing, because if OKC goes on your home floor and win tomorrow and go up with a 3-1 lead, head it back home, then it would just be a gentleman's sweep in one of those series where you had that electrifying win that extended the series, but it wasn't the real. You dig? So I think there's a lot of dope, good things to be able to take from this game to position yourself to tie it up, though. I mean, there's something here. There's something here. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shooting 30% from the field. You got him only taking 4 free throws. You got J-Dub only with 13 points, 5 of those points from the free throw line, not having the greatest game. He turned the ball over 4 times. Shai turned the ball over 4 times. Their 2 best players combined for 8 of their 14 turnovers. They shot 19 free throws. There is something here. There's something here. As a team, they ended this game with 31 rebounds, and you had 50. So, again, there are certain things that I'm loving. 30 assists to their 19. The ball movement was evident. I think if you can get the production like this from the bench again, you're going to be in a good position for their bench to be able to give them. And I'm going to really just count the main guys. But Nikhil gave them 12. Nas gave them 10. Dante gave him 6. You got about 28 bench points. You can't always depend on the Leonard Miller 11, Luka Garza 7. We ain't going to count that. And the Terrence Shannon 15 will be a little bit more realistic. But an incredible performance. Shout out to Julius Randle. A good bounce back for him, 24 and 4. 2 of 5 from 3 after, again, not being able to close out game 2. Great response. We'll see what happens in this game. My mind right now is totally on this Knicks game 3. I won't lie to you. About to head out in a little bit, go check them out and see if they can extend the series and do what the Timberwolves were able to do. A little bit of reverse, right? We're not going home. We're on the road. But anything is possible. So, again, I won't be seeing y'all tonight for a recap. You'll probably get another one in the morning just like today. As always, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Timberwolves fans. They get another opportunity to position themselves to win and to get to exhale calmly. OKC, you're still in the driver's seat. You're still up 2-1. And, again, that could just be a fluke game where you just didn't have it. Those nights happen and exist in the NBA. You just got to make sure it isn't going to happen multiple times in the series, because if you leave that door open, the Minnesota Timberwolves do have the experience and the talent to be able to take advantage. As always, I'm Pee Wee the Plug. I will see y'all all playoffs long. I'm out. Peace.